This is a data which is comparing S&P 500 and a company stock, and the company is Apple Incorporated. Incorporation, sorry. The task here is to find if there's any correlation between the movement of S&P 500 index as shown in the column B. The column B is representing the S&P 500 index. Those of us who know about stock exchange market know what an index is. It's actually a benchmark showing how the market is performing, say per day or per year. Like in this case, it is per year. It can be for any period, but generally it's a benchmark index to show you how the market is performing without explaining too much about that. So this is a value of the stocks of this Apple, the average in 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017. And you can see down there, there's a red mean and a green mean for S&P 500. Those means would have been useful. And this is where it becomes very crucial. If I had to use the formula method to calculate the correlation coefficient, there's a very intimidating formula that is used to calculate that value, and I can show it to you here briefly, that it is calculated by n. I'm just trying to get some light because it is not very clear. So let's say n into the sum of xy minus the sum of x and the sum of y, all this over square root of n, the sum of x squared minus the sum of the product of ex squared minus n into the sum of y squared minus ey squared. Like I've told you, this is a very intimidating formula for you to calculate the correlation coefficient. So this is what the spreadsheet will actually assist. So I'll not use this formula because actually you can see I'd actually put in the values b squared, c squared if I had to use a formula, but I'm not going to use a formula, so I'll use the shortcut provided by these spreadsheets. So I'll quickly just go and get what I want. So I'll go straight there, I'll press the function key, and then I'll go to statistical, because correlation coefficient is actually a statistical notion, and then I'll click that correl there. So the array 1 is going to be represented by the B column. So it will actually be the whole column there. So I'll take B2 to B6, as it were. So B2 to B6, that is the first array. You can see it's asking me for the second array there. So you have to insert the second array. So the second array is going to be the C, the whole of the C stock values. So I'll put in C2 and up to C6. That is the full array. So what is the correlation coefficient, if at all you can get it? Is it positive? Is it negative? Is it midway? Is it low? Is it high? So I'll press enter. And my value up there, as you can see, is 0.954. I can still repeat that so that I can have it in a clearer space. I didn't put that space, so I can just go through it again. There's no limitation on that, so I'll just go again. I'm just trying to ensure it's clearly indicated on the right box. So I'll just repeat the steps. So I go to B2 for the first array, that is to B6, and then C2, C6. Sorry, I want to use capital, so C2 to C6. And then I press enter. So the value shown there is the correlation coefficient, which you can clearly see is very high, 0.95704,606. The maximum value for this is 1, which means a perfect correlation between two data sets being compared. So if it is 0.95, like in this case, that's a very high correlation. So it tells you that the stocks of Apple are very highly correlated in terms of movement to the S&P 500 stock exchange index. So if somebody had to make a decision by looking at the stock exchange index and Apple, if you're an investor, if you like the correlation, then definitely you simply move in and buy the stocks. If you don't like the correlation, obviously you make the other decision, opposite decision, by deterring yourself from investing there. So this is the value of correlation coefficients. You can think of any number of data sets where you can apply the correlation coefficient.